Hey, I'm going to try and do this in one take. So, got some great news. This email came in an hour ago. I haven't looked at it yet. I want to run through my microbiome gut report. I don't even know what the gut report looks like. Ombre makes it really hard to see ahead of time what the report will look like. I'd say for context, I sent off my sample over 3 weeks ago, and they say normally it's 2 to 3 weeks. And I've been losing my mind kind of in the interim. And I just want to set up with at this point in time, I've actually come to learn or believe that stool sample microbiome testing can be useless. And I've seen a number of studies that show that if you take samples from different parts of a stool, the results are wildly different. Also, there's the time of day your microbiome does different stuff. And yeah, but I think what I would say, if there are bacteria populations, keystone bacteria populations, which flag as undetectable, that would be a win to me, and that would be either confirming or something I could use moving forwards. And then, so before I jump in, I just want to talk about me. So since taking this test and moving forwards, I mean, I basically took this test because I read Supergut, but I was already looking very, very deeply at the microbiome and the role of microbiome in obesity, weight gain, hunger regulation. Everybody kind of, if you're in the esoteric health space, everybody already knows a pendulum and Akkermansia, and I had a bunch of very funny interactions with people talking about Akkermansia and how you can have too much and it can destroy your gut lining, but don't tell people that fast religiously about that because they don't want to hear it. And then I would say, I'm very cautious in the health space because I'm on any given day, I probably read at least one, but more likely three on average, health studies or medical studies or clinical trials. And my wife definitely has pointed out that can lead to me sounding obsessive about certain issues or food or hunger or obesity, and it's hard not to in some ways talk to people who have had these miraculous results with different drugs and think, oh, I should just you slowly normalize the use of a drug for an issue that you don't have, and then your brain goes, oh, why don't you just try it for a month and see what happens? It would be hilarious to test it. And then you think about it. Anyway, just to say that my point being, I did this test. I sampled just before my big bike race of the year. For the past 2 months, I have been taking I've been eating a lot more resistant starch. I've been taking red polyphenol powder. I've been eating a ton of berries. I've been having human milk oligosaccharides, and more recently, I've been been eating my own probiotic. I think you would call it cultured milk because the FDA is stupid about what you call yogurt, but really yogurt. Probably about half a cup every day of Lactobacillus gasseri and Lactobacillus reuteri. So I don't know what I'm going to find in here, but here's what I would say. It's funny, I was talking to somebody about this today. I'm pretty active. Just a lot of the time I'm not. Right, Sunday I did an 8-hour drive and got less than 10,000 steps. I do lift weights now 3 times a week. I was cycling a ton. I've kind of put it down, but I want to get back into it, probably 2 or 3 rides a week that will total in the off season maybe 50 miles. My TDEE supposedly is about 2,400 calories. I know calories is a stupid model, but let's just say it's 2,400 calories. And I really only whole foods. Some days, like Sunday when I was driving, I just had ravenous, obsessive hunger all day. I couldn't stop thinking about food. As soon as I woke up in the morning, I was thinking about food. Where am I going to get food? What am I going to eat? How am I going to stop myself from eating too much? When I wake up, I'm not even hungry. My stomach isn't hungry. My brain is hungry, and it's kind of hard to explain it. The closest thing I've ever heard it described as is this food noise that actually obese people deal with. And so there's a piece in my mind which is that would suggest that maybe my Akkermansia population is severely struggling, because I'm eating the right things to get the appropriate hunger responses, but if my microbiome is fucked up, then I simply will not get the right hunger responses. On the flip side, I could have overgrowth of all of those things, and then I don't even know what that means. Anyway, we're going to jump in and view my results, and we'll see what happens. Oh, great. Just got an affiliate link. I should slice some of this out of the video, but I'm not going to. You should just be watching this on double speed because my English accent on a Tuesday afternoon is a bit slow. Okay, Interesting. I got an 84 gut response. Good, bad, good, bad. Low, I think that's probably low pathogenic. Good, bad. Bacteria, I don't know what that means. Commensals is good. Probiotics, I don't know. Well, I haven't actually seen anything. But commensals is your good bacteria. That is your commensal bacteria. Those are the symbiotic bacteria that live in your stomach and give you basically superhuman abilities that would have taken a millennia to evolve naturally. So like being able to digest gluten and being able to digest lactose and being able to eat spinach and not get kidney stones, those things are done by your commensal bacteria. So what do I do? Okay, I don't want any of that. Just click in. Data, recommended, bacteria. Start there. Okay, that's great. First one is I'm deficient. Great. Interesting. Pathogenic, overgrown. That is hilarious. It says overgrown on all of them, but then the range is 0 to 0. I guess you should have 0, and I've actually shown up. They've actually found levels of all of this pathogenic bacteria. That is funny. Okay, so this is saying, oh, so what it's doing is it's just showing me these ones. The ones this is saying this is deficient and these are overgrown, and I need to fix those. But it's not showing me all of them. So let me see. Here we go. Abundant. This is in range. Stercosis. I'm actually going to go through all of them. There's a funny piece here, which is when you start to think about, when you learn that, well, here's what I learned in Supergut, and I think we're going to reference this, right? That you only need one course of antibiotics in your lifetime to basically kill off a keystone strain of bacteria. And then when you've killed off a keystone strain of bacteria, you can take probiotics to put it back, but it will not, for the most part, my understanding is it will not hold. Like, you just have to continue to take probiotics if you want to hold on to that commensal going forwards. And yeah, 19 out of 20 people are walking around without Lactobacillus reuteri, which is, I'm sure, going to show up here somewhere. And that is like fundamentally really important in visceral fat modulation and oxytocin production. So only one course of antibiotics. So I mentioned this to a parent of mine, one of my parents, and they were like, yeah, but you didn't take that many antibiotics as a kid. And I was like, well, I remember getting the banana syrup in England, which is like how you give kids penicillin. And they're like, yeah, when you had an ear infection. I said, well, how many ear infections did I have? They're like, 2. I was like, cool. Well, I also remember as a teenager being given antibiotics for tonsillitis. Then at university, I was prescribed antibiotics for a skin issue that I wasn't even looking for. The doctor was just like, oh, we have pills that will like solve this like acne. Here, just take this. So there's those 4 courses of antibiotics, not including anything from like being in the hospital potentially. Also, you get your key bacteria, I think, some pathway from your parents. So if my mother was missing it, then like I might still be missing it. And I know that generation loved to pop antibiotics. And then there's a couple other things in there. I've gone through periods of heavy fasting. I've gone through periods of extremely restrictive diets without the proper things that bacteria like to eat, which I'm sure could reduce them. And then actually January of this year, when I was on a ski trip, my stomach got so seriously ill that I actually thought I had Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. And if I can find my DMs on Twitter with people that I know have suffered from those diseases, I was freaking out. I was in so much pain. Had severe, I think one of my doctors that know me said, they described it as gastritis, which I think is just like stomach inflammation. And I think that is from, I did do a really aggressive cut at the end of last year, which seems to have like caused a whole bunch of problems for me. That's 1. 2, there was a period, I don't do it anymore, it's really stupid. My friend Tucker Goodrich explained to me how completely disgusting and stupid it would be to do this, but I was eating the Gatsby chocolate. If you're familiar with Shark Tank, it was like a hit product on Shark Tank. You can buy it in most American grocery stores. And it's made with something called EPG or Epig. You'll also find that in Nick's Swedish ice cream, and it's just miraculously you get unbelievable chocolate and ice cream that tastes completely like creamy, fatty ice cream and chocolate, but has like no calories or no fats because of this effectively like synthetic fat that is designed to not be digested, and that you eat, it's like, your serving size is like 3 pieces of chocolate. When you start eating a bar of chocolate that tastes that good and is 180 calories, you just eat the whole thing. And I repeatedly did that, and every time I did that, it destroyed my stomach. Like, completely cleaned me out. It was so bad. I'm sure that those things together, I'm sure that chocolate caused the gastritis, 100%. I mean, at Christmas, right, I was eating like a bar every 2 days. Um, and yeah, so I wasn't really producing an environment that was conducive to a healthy microbiome. Okay, great. So let's try and move forward. There's so many pages here. This isn't going to really work. But what I want to try and find is my Akkermansia muciniphila and then a whole bunch of Lactobacillus and Bifidobacteria. Those are the ones that I think about or talk about probably a lot. Clostridium, abundant, overgrown. Well, that's funny. Yeah, that's a pathogenic one. Filter by all. I want species. These reports are kind of good. I would say, like, I feel a sense of disappointment that it wasn't flagging at the front that potentially my Akkermansia is low. Funny story, I actually got so frustrated with how long these results were taking, and it seemed to be impossible to contact somebody. I went through this little gizmo down here like 4 times to say, where are my results? I sent them to you weeks ago. Then I realized the cost benefit analysis of just taking a good Akkermansia probiotic is basically nothing. Like, oh no, I took a probiotic and I got some more Akkermansia, but I already eat like a ton of food that they would love. That's like not an issue. The cost of a 60-day supply of Akkermansia, if you don't use one of the direct consumer brands like Pendulum, I think it's like $24. And so I ended up buying it, just taking it anyway. I was like, cool. Like, what's the worst case? And it turns out that I have like overgrowth on here, and then I could just stop and move forwards. It's not that much damage. We're gonna have an issue. I can see now looking through this. Let's just try and look in here. Okay, so I've just got it in range. That doesn't make sense. They detected 0.001%. That is literally. How is that in range if the top of the range is 0.3? Surely in the middle of the range is 0.15. What? That doesn't make any sense. Community range. The community range. So I guess this is one of the funny things about microbiome research. It's like we don't actually know like 100% concrete what is good and what is bad in many ways. We also, there's a whole bunch of bacteria strains we still haven't even discovered. I think just yesterday I was reading an article that was like, oh, we found a new strain and we think that this is the one that causes obesity, which is hilarious. So it's showing you the community range, but then there's another outer range piece. Why would the community range be good still at 0? That doesn't make sense. Okay, so I actually think this is a win based on what I wanted. If you're in the middle of the range and the top of the range is 0.36 and the bottom of the range is 0.00, middle of the range should be 0.15. At least 1.1, well, it should be 1.8 actually, if you do the maths. It should be 1.81. So, hombre, you need to sort this shit out. That's terrible. If you're numerically illiterate, this is like, oh, this is great. Okay, this to me confirms potentially why I'm really hungry on random days. So there's that. What else did I want to do? I wanted to do Bifido. Didn't check any Bifidobacteria. That is weird. Have I misunderstood what I'm looking for? I'm going to slice this out on the video. Let me look this up. Bifidobacterium. Yeah. So it just doesn't have. I don't understand. It doesn't have any Bifidobacteria, but it doesn't even measure it. Am I doing something wrong? The most common type of gram-positive lactic acid bacteria. Scientific name is Bifidobacterium. But the phylum is... We don't look for the phylum. Actinomycota, which isn't here. Maybe it's Actinobacteria? Is that what that is? Yeah. That doesn't look right. This scale is really stupid. I don't know. Okay, so let's just go back to, or maybe I'm looking for the wrong thing. Human milk oligosaccharides, that's what I take. And I do that for Bifidobacterium, which is an immunity boosting bacteria. So there we go. Sorry. Okay, great. Oh my god. So probiotic commensal. Oh, interesting. So it's not. So somehow it's saying that it's not commensal. My bad. I thought this was a commensal bacteria, but I do know that this gets heavily suppressed in obesogenic cases of obesity, and is part of why your immune system is basically fighting you and making you, like, keeping you fat. But that looks like that could quite seriously come up. Yeah, that's not great. But at least measured, so I don't need to take a probiotic for that, because then it's there. I just need to keep feeding it the right foods. And the last one would be Lactobacillus. So they are looking at some of them and not other ones. Abundant. Great. These ranges are literally terrible. So this is just like a high level Lactobacillus. Bacillus. And GABA. That's why I was getting confused. Okay. Yeah, there's 192 species. So let me go back to species then, because that's what I'm looking for. Lactobacillus reuteri. Do they have that? Reuteri. I'm misspelling that. So they don't. They didn't test for that. That's the one I take out. That and Gasseri. Cool. Whatever. So here's what it's doing. Now I understand. It's saying that there are some commensals, and I'm mostly good in the commensals. I'm in range, but I'm definitely at the bottom of the range. Probiotics, which are like extra good ones. This is residential. Okay, it says I'm above the community range, but I'm deficient in one of them, and also Akkermansia is way too low in my liking. Pathogenic was saying that, yeah, overgrown on a bunch of stuff. Pathobionts, type of bacteria that opportunistic pathogens. Interesting. Okay. See, now, like, that looks more, that makes sense. That would go more in the middle. It's 3 out of a range of almost 0 and 8. I don't know what any of this means, but it looks like I have to do something to change my food. What's the biggest one? They're not overgrown until it hits that side of community range, right? That's so stupid. What does this do? Let's just take a look. Negative attack. No, or whatever. Gastrointestinal disease, IBD, autism, bowel motility, elevated in IBD, ulcerative colitis, metabolic issues. Well, that's terrible. Is this the one I just did? Yeah, it is. Bifidobacterium. Periodontal diseases, interesting. Gingivitis, huh? Arthritis, heart disease, IBD, appendicitis. This one, they don't know what the range is. Great. What does it do? Metabolic syndrome, pathogenesis, leaky gut, bile acid, great. Glucose intolerance. That's just fantastic. Now the funny thing is, I do know, at least I don't have H. pylori or anything like massively scary. H. pylori, I've definitely said that wrong. I'm gonna get some Americans in the chat. Yeah, that's good that I don't have the terrible stuff, which means I don't need any dramatic actions. My main understanding is to get rid of bad bacteria, and to get rid of bad bacteria is to have more good bacteria, and it should push out bad bacteria, especially with the Lactobacillus reuteri. And then, yeah, shut the junctions in your gut. That's your CB1 receptor. Block your CB1 receptor in your endocannabinoid system. Don't eat corn oil or seed oils, high linoleic acid diet. I feel okay with some of these numbers. The ranges, now knowing how inaccurate I know parts of this test can be, the ranges being so specific is odd. It feels like, I don't know what the word, it's not fake, but just performative. But I need some more of this. I mean, so that's why is this one, there's more probiotics that are deficient than this, right? That's what we found out in my report. Just keep looping through. I do want to put an end to this 22-minute video for people that have decided to watch me go through my poop results on Twitter. Filter by, so if I go deficient, yeah, I've got deficient in loads of stuff. So why did it say I wasn't deficient in the other ones? Just because it was top 10, I guess. Clostridium, pathogenic. So difficile, but harmless. Yeah. So I do know this. You normally have Clostridium in your gut anyway, but C. difficile is the one that's really bad. The same with, we carry around E. coli on any given day. It's just certain E. coli strains are absolutely awful. So let me do this. I'm deficient in a whole bunch of stuff, but also then I'm overgrown in a bunch of pathogenic stuff, but then I'm overgrown in commensals, which is a bit weird. What does this do? So gram negative, no benefits, no negatives. 1 out of 4 key causes of diarrhea. Most common bacterial causes of gastroenteritis. Gastroenteritis in the world. Interesting. But it is commensal, but it's too high. That doesn't make any sense. What did I even just click? Commensal. I think I was looking at the wrong thing. Commensal, but overgrown. The community range is 0 to 0. So why would it be, then it wouldn't be commensal. It would be it doesn't exist. I don't understand. Maybe I should have gone through this with a doctor or something. This is really weird. So let's take a look at food recommendations. What do? I guess I do. Is SCD the croissant diet? I don't think I do any of these, but let's just say paleo is probably the closest thing I do. Yeah. I don't think I'm allergic to any foods. Alcohol, basically, but yeah. I'm an ALDH2 star 2 mutation person, if you know what that means. Okay, great. You want me to eat cabbage, which I eat a ton of. Fruit, which I eat a ton of. Oranges, I eat a ton of. Rhubarb. Akkermansia. So it is telling me I should eat some things to get Akkermansia up. I eat so many of these foods. It's funny, red, 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 green, 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 orange, and fish. I don't eat a lot of fish. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to fill this up from somewhere else. Yeah, looks like there. Where do I get the blauta? There, oranges. I'm not eating the fish. I like fish. I like mahi mahi. I like it if it's fresh. But we've destroyed the oceans, and not a big fan of omega-6. So this whole report is I know what they're trying to do, I think. Like, this is a complicated area with a bunch of assumptions, but I'm so confused by my numbers. Like, what do I change? Other than I'm going to continue to take an Akkermansia probiotic and see how I feel. I'm doing like 7 other things that are going to confound that experiment. But I do know that there's this guy, oh gosh, I forgot his name. My friend Catherine works with him. He has a toilet thing that like analyzes every poop you take. He's the CEO of like a new bio poop toilet company, and he ate junk food for a month, and his microbiome got messed up. But his Akkermansia's high, I think, has remained high, or the number. I remember the numbers being much higher. So this is saying limit these kinds of fish. This just says white fish. If I eat fish, it's probably white, and it's so rare. Yeah, I don't eat tilapia. I mean, maybe if I'm in Florida, I do like shellfish, but I don't eat any of these things that often. Enterococcus. So that's the pathogenic bacteria. I mean, salmon, like we used to eat a lot of wild caught Alaskan salmon after we went to Alaska, but we don't do that anymore. Okay, I eat cold sweet potatoes cooked. I eat cold russet potatoes cooked. I eat cold sweet potatoes cooked. I eat a lot of red meat. That's really funny. It's so interesting that it's like certain steaks. I do eat potatoes. I eat veal. I don't eat a lot of rabbit. I do eat potatoes. Enterococcus. So wait, what happened? I do like papaya. I eat a lot of fruit. It says limit this one, right? Yeah. Pathobian. So this is the one that's too high, and we know that it is. It doesn't say what it is, but it's a pathobian, which means yes, bacteria find them. I don't even know what it means. It doesn't. It just tells me that it's overgrown because there is a more detectable level than 0, but it won't tell me what's wrong with this other than it looks like strep throat, I think is what I just saw. Bacteria levels, ombre score, foods. So I got a score out of what? Is that out of 100? Community range is that. So it's a percentage. Okay, I got 84 out of 100. Ecosystem score, measures a good neutral. So that's okay. It's a higher end of the range, I guess. But the symptom score reflects the provided symptoms. Interesting. What does that mean? Interesting. I think I don't even know what symptoms I flagged. That was 3 weeks ago. It's like a life change of time. Averages comparison score. So my comparison score is not good because it's in the lower part of the range, I think. Is that what I'm explaining? So that's good, that's bad compared to the community. Diversity score. And that's okay. But, so is that made up of things that didn't... No, don't know. Symptoms Diversity Index, no idea what it means. 84, cool, let's see if that goes up. We recommend a product that we sell based on your results. You have 1 deficient bacteria and 9 overgrown pathogenic. But I have more than 1 deficient beneficial. It's just like what we've already clicked through. don't want to be rude, but this stuff infuriates me that it's like not obvious what's going on. So a targeted blend, 1 billion CFU. So I do understand that, like, when we look at microbe concentration, it's done in logs, really. So because it's usually exponential growth. So a lot of pills, I know that if you take pendulum, it's like 100 million CFU, which is obviously 1,000 times less. So that would be a log 10 times 2, I think. I got that right. So you want to make sure if you're going to take a probiotic, it has like actually enough of the biotic, of biotics. So this is just like a general probiotic. I don't have any of those. And it's got Lactobacillus, all of the ones that I don't take, plus Bifido. Gargum's fine. $40 for one of these. And it doesn't have any fiber, I guess. Maybe hypercellulose, that's the capsule. Sun fiber, oh, so it does have fiber, because you basically want to take some insoluble fiber when you take a probiotic to feed it. Daily is like 3 months. I don't know what to tell you. So if I click Biome, is it going to open up Amazon? It is, and then is it going to find me alternatives? I would be like into buying ombre probiotics, but the gut health test taking more than 3 weeks. 3 weeks in and of itself is absolutely insane to me, but taking more than 3 weeks is like not on. It doesn't make me a fan of this brand, although the test was like $100, which I have to take with a pinch of salt. What is this supposedly good one? Good metabolism. So it has reuteri, funnily enough, which it doesn't. Reuteri. It didn't even let me look for that in the test, but that's what I'm taking probiotically anyway. It doesn't cover Akkermansia, which is like the hot one everybody was talking about now. And I don't have any of those symptoms. So, yeah, that's my... Oh, endless energy sounds good. What probiotics do you think are in endless energy? A couple Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, Bifidum, that's what I'm trying, with something else. So, I think I probably do need to take a probiotic, given what I've explained between antibiotic use and the other like gastritis issues I had. But I don't know what to do. I want to eat resistant starch for my good bacteria, but it's telling me that I shouldn't do that because of the pathogens. Unsure on that one. Challenge as well is like you can't really mix probiotics, is my understanding. Like there are some that are synergistic, but mostly they're not. Because surely you're like, oh, well, why don't I just have one pill with all of these bacteria? Prebiotic, yeah. Restore. That's not for me. I can't pause this video, can I? I was gonna be interested to see what I just start taking for Akkermansia, but I'm not going to open up my Prime now. I think that's a bit of a privacy invasion risk. Anyway, there's my results. Like that's apparently what's going on in my stomach with my poop, which is fantastic. I guess I was thinking that it would flag like SIBO, but I'm trying to remember what the you don't actually test SIBO with bacteria scores, of course. You test SIBO by consuming resistant starch and then measuring your methane and hydrogen production orally. Which I now realize is really stupid that I thought this would show up in this test. Do I think I have SIBO? No, I eat resistant starch almost every day without like any real issues. In fact, I would say I have no noticeable issues. This is the really bad one that showed up, right? I think this is the one that was saying, yeah, I need to stop eating all of those. Nice red potatoes. This one's missing. I need to get out of this report. I don't know how I've ended up here. I just need to get out of this report. Anyway, there's diving into Matt Quinn's poop sample. Thanks for joining me.